Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will now begin our ceremony. We ask that everyone please turn off all of your electronic devices. I am Angie GHEESLING with the Development Authority of Houston County, and I'm going to be your MC for this afternoon. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Warner Robins High School ROTC and our national anthem performed by Ms. Sonia Jenkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now our invocation will be given by Ms. Chrissy Minor.
Please let us bow our heads in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we lift up our hearts in sincere thanks for the bountiful evidence of your rich blessings upon our nation. We thank you for the opportunity to live in a free country and pray for the Air Force and our sister services who defend our freedom daily. We pray for our Commander-in-Chief and the commanders appointed under him. We pray for our federal, state, and local elected leaders, and that you give them the wisdom to do what's right in your likeness. We thank you for the great partnerships, as evidenced before you today, that work to strengthen Robins Air Force Base and our community as a whole. As we begin this transformation of the Software Center, we pray that it will be an instrument of peace, and that all who are present may direct our energies individually and collectively to live out our nation's creed, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. And now, may the blessings of Almighty God rest upon all of us today. Amen. Amen. Now please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. Look. Oh. Right.
Please be seated. Thank you to the Warner Robins High School, ROTC, and to Sergeant Antoine Jackson for leading the group today. And to Sonia Jenkins and that amazing voice, you get me every time. And a special thank you to my co-conspirator in this project and other things in life, Chrissy Miner, for being up here with me and supporting us today. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest of honor for today's ceremony. If you will please hold your applause till everyone has been introduced. General Arnold Bunch, Jr., Commander, Air Force Materiel Command. Brigadier General John C. KUBINEC, Commander, Warner Robins Air Logistics Center. Colonel Brian Moore, Commander, Installation and 74th Air Base Wing. Mr. BERT Brantley, Chief Operating Officer with the Georgia Department of Economic Development. Dr. Mark Scott, Superintendent, Houston County School District. Mr. Tommy Stonecker, Chairman, Houston County Board of Commissioners. Mr. Ben Hulbert, Chairman, Development Authority of Houston County. Also, please give a very special Middle Georgia welcome to Mrs. Caroline Bunch. I think we can clap now. And a welcome home, and we're glad it came as quickly as it did, to Colonel Lyle Drew. Glad to have you back here. And please welcome a true native son to our area, Commissioner for the Department of Community Affairs for the state of Georgia, Mr. Christopher Nunn. We are so honored to have a host of very distinguished guests, civilian and military, in attendance. We tried to mark off chairs of everyone we thought needed to have a special seat to themselves, and when we ended up to the next to the last row, we decided that was a sign. We ask that you hold your applause again until the end of these introductions. Please welcome our state representative, Shaw Blackman. So glad you could make it down here. I can't believe it. Thank you. The Honorable Randy Toms, Mayor for the City of Warner Robins. I know that the Mayor, John Harley, is somewhere en route because I saw him earlier this morning, and I know he wouldn't miss it. The Honorable Randall Walker, Mayor of the City of Perry. Dr. Christopher Blake, Middle Georgia State University. Dr. Ivan Allen, President of Central Georgia Technical College. Mr. Greg Ziesenheim, who is representing the office of U.S. Representative David Perdue. Ms. Slayton Carter, who is now going to be representing the office of Kelly Loeffler, very proud of you. And Ms. Alice Johnson, who comes from the office of U.S. Representative Austin Scott. I want to say that they tried, all of three of them, to be here, and I know that, and tell them that we do appreciate that effort. You are truly all VIPs, and most importantly, your friends. So in the interest of time, please accept a very broad but heartfelt welcome to the many other federal, state, county, and city officials, Air Force attendees, special community friends, and members of Team Robins who are with us today. A very warm welcome to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brigadier General John KUBINEC.
How are we doing today? It is a great day, is it not? I don't care what the weather is like outside, inside this tent and in this community, it is always a bright and sunny day, and I'm honored to be here. General Bunch, sir, it is great to have you here and part of our Middle Georgia community today. Mrs. Bunch, thank you for coming here. You see the love that this community has for this base, as is evident in what we're doing here today. Representative Blackman, thank you, sir, for making the effort. I know that you're busy up there in Atlanta right now, and so it means a lot to us to have you here. Commissioners, I'll talk about y'all in a minute, but thank you for being here, our mayors, and this great, great community. Wow. So how did this all come about? How are we standing, and why are we standing here today to celebrate this partnership between Houston County and Robins Air Force Base as we grow our software workload? Well, I can tell you how it came about. Colonel Moore and I had a meeting. It was not more than 90 days ago, a little bit more than that maybe, where we had a lot of community leaders and a lot of y'all were in that room, and we were talking about what was going on at Robins. We're just giving an update to this community. And we talked about where we're growing. We talked about where our challenges were. And one of the things we said is our software work continues to grow, and we're running out of space to do that work. And that was about all we said. And then so many of you have had this same call before. It came like this right after the meeting. It came from a certain Tommy Stolniker, the chairman, and you all been there. You've had this before. He's like, I need to see you for a minute in your office. I got called in my own office by the chairman. And of course I said, yes, sir. It is now your office. And what he said is profound. It's like, we need to figure out how we can help you with that. The county needs to figure out how we can help you with the issue that you have. And I appreciate, Angie, the notes you put in here. I don't have to say much. You put my words right there, but we articulated a need. This community heard that need and could have done a lot of things about it. Could have said, yeah, that's a need. They could have said, well, let's see if we can get the state to do something about it. But what this community did is took action. That's why we're here today, 90 days later, making an announcement about a partnership that we will have, Robins Air Force Base with Houston County, to put our great software professionals in this building to do the work of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how this came about, and that's why we're here today. We're here today because of the leadership of Tommy Stolniker and the great support from this community. That's something we all can clap for right now. But we all know it doesn't happen with just one person's vision. As strong as the chairman is, as much as we all love him, it takes a much broader team to answer that call. And that's why I want to thank our commissioners. I want to thank you for understanding what our need was and for supporting it 100%. I want to thank Mr. Wayne Lowe, who's sitting right here, who owned this building and said, I think we have a way to meet this need. And sir, without your support, there's no way that we could have done this and the county could have pulled this off. So sir, I salute you and I thank you for not just for this, but for all that you have done to support Robins Air Force Base over the year. Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Mr. Lowe told me he got the same call from the chairman that I got, so. And then to actually execute this, it took the Development Authority to actually come on board and to do this. And I know we have some members of the Development Authority. Of course, Chairman Hulbert's here. You're going to hear from him. Mr. Talton Neal is here, one of the people on the board. Without the board and without the Development Authority, we wouldn't be here. And there's one other person that really needs a thank you, that doesn't get the recognition she deserves for all the work that she does for Houston County, and that's Angie GHEESLING. Angie, thank you so much. And then we have Dr. Scott here from the superintendent at Houston County Board of Education. I know we have Mr. Wilson and other board members here as well. One of the coolest things that I'm excited about here is the partnership we're going to have with Houston County Board of Education and the Career Academy. Not only are we going to be doing work for our nation in this building, we're going to be co-located with a software lab for the Career Academy, and we're going to grow that next generation of professionals who are going to work in this business. How cool is that? And I'm really excited about that and how we're going to partner with you all. So this is the third time you've heard me talk about software partnerships here in the last year. Can you tell that software is a big deal for us and a big deal for our nation? We just opened up our lab in downtown Macon called Blue Sky at the Capricorn Studios. We're partnering with our friends from Mercer University there, and I know that Alan London is here from Mercer. We're really excited about the partnership we have up there and what that will bring to our software development world. We were very fortunate to have Dr. Blake and Middle Georgia State University come to us and ask if we would partner with them as they opened up their Center for Software Innovation right here at their Warner Robins campus. I got to tour it the other day, Dr. Blake. I'm really excited about the problems we're going to be solving with your team at the Center for Software Innovation. That is your idea, and I thank you, and we're proud to be partners with you on that. And now here at the Synergy building, we're going to have about 150 of our software professionals going to be working right here, doing the cutting edge and the high-tech work that we have for our nation. And if you think about these partnerships now, with the Career Academy, with all the work we're doing at Robbins North with Dr. Allen and the Technical College, with our partnership with Mercer, with our partnership with Middle Georgia State University, what we are collectively doing, our team is doing, is we are building a workforce pipeline for the future. Starting, let's even go back a little bit. Darlene's here. We're starting with that museum across the street where we have pre-K, kindergarten, grade school, all the way up through high school kids coming and learning about STEM education. I know that for a fact. I have a 7-year-old who loves going over there. And we cannot miss STEM camp. And then to our high schools, and now to our technical college and colleges. You all are building that workforce development pipeline for the future right here in Warner Robins, and I'm really, really excited about that. So let me just kind of close by talking about why this is so important. It's so important because the work that we're doing in software is the future for our Air Force. Our Chief of Staff has talked very plainly about it's about the highway and not the truck. And when he says that, he means it's about the digital work that our software pros do here. Think about the aircraft that we're flying these days. Big flying computers. And it takes our professionals here at Robbins and across the Air Force Sustainment Center to sustain that software in these weapon systems. And we think about future missions, an advanced battle management system coming to Robbins. It's all going to focus on software. That's not to say that the work we do on our aircraft and our components is going to go away. It's certainly not. We need our skilled artisans today. We'll need them in the future. It's the foundation of what we do. I know our union partners are here. I see Mr. Williams and Mr. Brown back there. That will always be the foundation of what we do. But when you look at where the growth is and what our nation asks of us, it's to be able to do some software missions and to continue to be able to do those missions for our country. Let me give you a tangible example of what this building is going to do. I had the C5 program office come to me. Sir, I haven't even told you this. C5 program office came to me. So we want to bring some of our operational flight programs. Think of that as your iOS on your phone, right? You got to update that every so often, right? Same for aircraft. You got to update that flight program every so often. The C5 program have been doing a lot of that with their contract partners, and that's great. They came to us and said, we'd love to be able to do this work organically with our Air Force assets. I'm not making this up. I was getting ready to tell them no, because I simply didn't have the space. Because of what this county is doing, I was able to tell them yes. Bring that work here. Our professionals will take that work on. Can you believe that? I'm able to say yes to an Air Force mission because of what this community has done. So we're going to have about 150 people working here. With our increase in that C5 workload, with the work that we're bringing on in F-35, we're going to grow by about 250 people in our software area. So we're creating new jobs, and we're creating capability for our Air Force here. You can clap on that too if you want. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. Can you tell I'm excited? You should be excited too. It's a great day for Middle Georgia. I said it in the quote here. A lot of communities can say I support my base. And I've been to a lot of communities that really do support their base, and it's great to see. It's what makes our Air Force so strong. But when we put on our water towers and we cut in our hedges when you drive into town that every day in Middle Georgia is Armed Forces Appreciation Day, if we just say it, that's one thing. But if we show it through our actions, which you all do every day, that's a whole nother world. And that's why I'm so proud to partner with you all in everything that we do. So in the end, just remember, when we talk about jobs and we talk about impact, this is really about increasing the readiness and lethality for our Air Force. It's about this community tangibly contributing to the defense of our nation and all the freedoms that we hold dear. And I, on behalf of Colonel Moore and all the men and women at Robbins, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you, General KUBINEC. Please welcome Dr. Mark Scott.
On behalf of Chairman Wilson and our Board of Education and the some 30,000 families that we represent across Houston County, I want to welcome General Bunch and Mrs. Bunch to Houston County. We're so glad to have you here today. General KUBINEC, you notice he pointed out all these other people and he kind of just sat down quietly, but he deserves a lot of recognition because he talked about just a little more than 90 days ago, this was just a conversation, and today we're sitting here making an announcement that is coming to fruition. So General KUBINEC, thank you for your vision. Thank you for your tenacity to get this accomplished. And you know, we've talked about, you know, growing that workforce and workforce development in our community and what an important role the Board of Education plays in that process. And I know that I'm much like General KUBINEC with Chairman Stonecker. He often calls me and does the same thing, but Angie also calls me and does the same way, and I think she does that with a lot of you as well. But it was one of those things where I had to ask our board to kind of take a leap of faith because it was a private conversation. We really didn't have a lot of details, but we trusted the players in the game. We trusted that we were doing the right thing for this community. It's been hard to sit on that secret because I've been excited. I've been excited about the possibilities with our post-secondary partners, and I know that that's been mentioned already, but the thought of having high school kids to be in an environment where they can have those real-life, authentic experiences and then have opportunities to work with software professionals and then to have the opportunity to continue their education and have them remain in Houston County and become an employee of Robbins Air Force Base. I mean, that is a dream of all of ours, and we talk often to our children about going off to college and coming back here to be part of our community and to practice the Houston County way that we teach them every day. But what a great idea to keep them here in our community, have them to have those experiences and to really make a decision about their life that they want to spend their life serving either in the military or either serving through civilian employment in this environment. So we're very proud of this partnership. This community always finds a way to say yes, and that's something that I always challenge my staff. Let's don't think about reasons why we can't do something. Let's think about reasons why we can do something. And this was certainly an example of us finding reasons to say yes and reasons to be successful. And so we're so excited about having classroom space and opportunity to work with these software professionals, and the sky's the limit for this program. So on behalf of the Board of Education, thank you all for being here today, and thank you for your continued support, and certainly thank you to General KUBINEC for his support.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. I promise I'll always ask nicely. Always ask nicely. Want to welcome Mr. BERT Brantley to the stage, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. So normally when I come to an event like this, it's because we have a prospect that has decided to locate a project in a community, and it's a prospect that we've worked with. We've gone and visited with them. We brought them to the community. The local professional like Angie has hosted them. It's been a long effort, and it's the culmination of a lot of work by a lot of people, but generally the state has done a lot to be there. Our Department of Economic Development with the Department of Community Affairs. So today, I'm really here to say thank you all for doing all the work. This is great. It's terrific. Just show up. I got to meet General KUBINEC a couple weeks ago at the Blue Sky facility up in Macon, and he's this excited all the time, by the way, or at least the 2 times I've seen him. It is an incredible testament to really all of Middle Georgia and this community in particular that when the call is put out, that you guys answer and you say yes. And you know, a lot of people think about the base when they think about Warner Robins and Houston County. For me, I think about leadership, and this community has continually produced leadership both for your local area, for the state, for the nation. And that continues. You have a long legacy of that, but it continues today. And by the number of people that are here and by the work that's been done, you guys continue to really, in my opinion, really lead the way in developing incredible leaders. Every prospect that we talk to nowadays, workforce is their number one question. It hadn't always been that way, but today, workforce is their number one question. A lot of communities are talking about what they're doing to develop their workforce. You guys are putting it into action in a much bigger way than we see across the state. And so that's something you guys have done on your own. That's not something that the state has told you to do or expects communities to do. You guys have stepped up and done that. So on behalf of Governor Kemp, who wishes he could be here today, Lieutenant Governor Duncan, on behalf of the state of Georgia, I really just want to say thank you. We are here to help in every way that we can. We are really close partners. ANGIE is an incredible partner for us. Not every community has an ANGIE. I can say that because we trained her at the state, and she does an incredible job down here. And it's a pleasure because she has the support of all of you. We know that when we talk to her, that she is speaking on behalf of not only the Development Authority, but the county and the cities here and all the citizens here. It is really a pleasure to work here and to do projects here, which you guys have had a lot of success here. And it's because you do things like this. And so I just want to, again, quickly just say, on behalf of the state, thank you so much for everything that you've done with the base, the county, the school system. Pulling together and accomplishing something like this is a rare feat. And I hope you guys, you'll hear it over and over again, but I hope you really believe that, because this is not something that every community could pull off. You've got private sector help, you've got public support help at the local level, and it's something that's unique to this area. And of course, you got great federal partners at the base as well. So again, on behalf of the state of Georgia, thank you for this. Thank you for all being here today. And we pledge to do everything we can to help continue to support the base and this community as it prepares our kids to have incredible opportunities right here in their hometowns. So thank you very much.
For those of you that were at the workforce breakfast this morning and heard us speak, I want to thank you, Bert, for backing us up on everything that we said this morning. Workforce is so important across the state of Georgia. Thank you for your partnership. And we'll also want to thank Candace Scott, who's on the ground with us every day, living right here in Warner Robins and doing such a great job and working along with us. Thank you. Now, I want to welcome our guest, our very special guest to the stage, General Arnold Bunch.
Anytime I start hearing special guests, I start looking around to see who else is behind, because I'm obviously, that can't be me. So really, thank everybody for being here today. It's really an honor and a privilege to get the opportunity to come down to Warner Robins and come down here to the installation and be part of a festivity like this. It's the first time I got to come down here yet as the commander, and it's when I come out, I get to see what everybody's doing. It's refreshing, it's reinvigorating, and it makes me willing to go back and fight through another budget meeting and struggle to get more resources and people. So I just really appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to the Warner Robins ROTC High School folks for presenting the colors. Having high schoolers involved in doing things like this, it gives them an idea of what's important, so I just applaud that. And Ms. Jenkins, many of us in uniform were standing at attention doing the national anthem. We can't give you a round of applause. So ma'am, for the national anthem and from someone who gets asked not to sing even in church, thank you very much. So. So it is truly an honor to be here with you today. One of the things, and as I go around and I go to the installations, one of the messages that I continue to give the installation commanders and I give the center commanders is the only way we can be successful as we go out and do this is we got to partner with the community. We got to talk to the community, we got to share with the community, we got to be open, and we got to dialogue. And this to me is another example of how that works at its absolute finest to try to get something done. I believe it's definitely going to be a win-win. The partnerships that you all have demonstrated with the Central Georgia Tech College on Robbins North, that's a recent one that we've done. That's a huge win for everybody involved. For the Project Blue Sky with the Software Innovation Center, Center for Software Innovation, the STEM outreach that we've got ongoing, the smart-based community assessment that we're all working on together. And one of the other ones that's coming up here pretty soon, I think it's coming to the very close, we're working on spouse reciprocity for as we move military airmen in, their spouses will be more quickly able to get jobs and move into the community. That makes it much more receptive for our airmen to move in and be a part of the community. And those spouses will be able to work in the community and be able to provide you a win there too. So I just applaud you for all those community and those partnership efforts. You're doing a great job making all that work out, and I just applaud those efforts for everybody. It's really great that we got all the state and the elected officials and all the reps here, because it can't happen without all those people working together. And I'm really happy that you're here to be a part of this as we kick off this new journey. We talked about what our need was. We didn't have enough room. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, we face that in a lot of areas now because the missions are growing. And this one is in an area that's really critical for what we're going to do for the future, and that's software. The Sustainment Center and here at Warner Robins within the Software Engineering Group, the skill level is unbelievable, and we're doing amazing things there that are making a difference in the fight today and will make a difference in the fight tomorrow as we grow our Air Force to address what our nation needs us to go do to protect freedom around the world and answer the nation's call. So we'll have about 150 folks, maybe more, over here working on cloud computing and working on communications and doing a lot of different things for the future. And the fact that we can do that with the community and have folks in that are learning and may want to come join our team, which we need people on our team. There's a young man sitting over here on his dad's lap. Who knows? 15, 20 years from now, he may be one of our airmen. And I don't talk about civilian and military airmen. I talk about airmen, because the airmen that work at this installation and across this command are committed to doing what we need to get the nation's bidding done. So you never know. That may be exactly how this plays out. So Tommy, thank you. I actually even got a call the other day that I had to talk to him. So I'm not sure how that. I thought when you got to be a 4-star, that might have made a little bit of a difference in this, but I don't really know that I had a whole lot of choice in taking the phone call. But sir, thanks for driving this and working it for the county commissioners, Houston County. Thank you very much for your support. This will be a great partnership. And for the Houston County Development Authority, the fact that we're going to have this where we're working on a digital Air Force, digital enterprise, driving the changes that we need, and we'll be sitting there in partnership with the Houston County Career Academy. That's just a win for everybody involved. So for everybody that had anything to do with this, for Air Force Materiel Command, for the Air Force, for the installation leadership that made it happen and worked all the deals, for the installation leadership, you're doing what I want you to do, and that's build partnerships and make the community ties stronger. So thank you all for doing that. For the community, thanks for embracing us. On behalf of the Air Force, thank you for being a great partner and allowing us to get our mission done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Bunch. It's truly an honor to have you and Mrs. Bunch with us today. Thank you so much for making the trip. Now, please welcome Chairman Tommy Stalnaker.
Thank you, Angie. Mayor Rickett, I see you in the back there, and Mayor Harley. If y'all don't mind, make your way up this way, the two of you. We've got some seats over here. Maybe something said about you in a minute. You know, when you follow General KUBINEC, I don't know if he's got some spy or what, but he takes a lot of your notes and uses them ahead of you. So you don't know whether to just throw what you was going to say down on the ground and walk off or what, but he's a master at doing that. But I will say this, General Bunce, the reason I called you was to keep you out of the mud. And the mud was going to be when you come down here and called us Houston County. I did not want that to happen.
I did not do that.
And you didn't do it. And the other reason was make sure he knew what the acronym was every day in Middle Georgia's Armed Forces Appreciation Day. And he was already been trained. And Colonel Lyle Drew had made sure that he had been trained. But General, so glad to have you and Caroline here with us. This is a great day for Middle Georgia. It's a great day for the state of Georgia, and we're honored that you're here. General KUBINEC. General KUBINEC, he has given a lot of thanks and gratitude to a lot of people for making this project happen. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. If it had not been for General John KUBINEC, we would not be here today. Now, I remember that meeting very well, and I don't remember exactly the way he's told y'all today is the way it turned out. However, he made his point that there was an opportunity for Robins Air Force Base, and there's an opportunity for this community if we could come together. So he lit the fuse is what he did that day. Chrissy Minor was in that office with us, and when we left there, the time constraints was very short. So we knew something had to happen very quickly. We knew that we needed to go see Mr. Lowe, and we talked to Mr. Lowe, and things started to fall into place, and then here we are today. But General KUBINEC, he's a leader, but he's a friend to everybody in this room. Whether you know him personally or not, he's your friend. But he is a true leader. He is a doer. He is not somebody that just talks about what to do. He gets it done. And he is a true patriot to the United States of America and a true soldier. You would think somebody that's about to wind down their career would be slowing down. But I'm telling you, he has got more lined up to get done between now and the time that he retires than any one individual that I know. But he is an asset to the United States Air Force. And General KUBINEC, your friendship means an awful lot to us, but your service to this great nation of ours means more. Thank you very much. Colonel Brian Moore, been here for a short period of time. He has done more as far as continuing to build relationships as any base commander that I know. He has stood where Colonel Drew stood and has built upon what he had started to build. The partnerships not only with communities, local elected officials, and everybody engaged in Robins Air Force Base. He has a wonderful family. He's an asset to Robins Air Force Base. But he too is a true commander here at Robins Air Force Base. Colonel Moore, I want to thank you as well. Colonel Lyle Drew, my friend. Now you got that phone call too, didn't you? And I asked him if he would be so kind to come back today because he was here and saw some of this starting prior to he left. And I thought it was important that he come back. And I appreciate you coming as a friend today, but more than that, we in this tent appreciate for what you do for this country each and every day, sir. Thank you very much. For my county commissioners, my fellow commissioners, I don't mean to offend anybody in this room that has councilmen and commissioners, but I want to tell you, I want you to meet the best commissioners in the state of Georgia, the best commissioners in the nation, and I appreciate what you have done to support this project and given the support to move forward with it. Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner McMichael, Commissioner Robinson, and Commissioner Walker. If you added all of their experience together, it's going to be pumping 100 years. They have been on the board for a long time, and they have done an outstanding job. And I personally want to thank you, and I want to thank you for supporting this project, because if y'all had not supported it, we would not be here today. You are very important in what has happened, but thank you very much. General KUBINEC's already mentioned Angie GHEESLING. She doesn't get enough credit. Angie does an awful lot in this county through economic development, working together with municipalities to try to bring people together. And Angie, you've done a great job on this project, but your development authority has as well. Because without the authority there supporting you and helping you with these decisions, that wouldn't happen. And those of you on the development authority, if you would raise your hand right now, I see Neil here and Ben's here, Scott's here, but I want to thank y'all for this time that you put in with the development authority and what you do. Because you know, and the people here need to know, the real person that delivered this, or the real people that delivered this project, was the Houston County Development Authority. Y'all stepped up and you said, we need to do this, and we're going to do it, and it happened. And I too want to thank you for that. We talked about a building, nobody said anything about the building. I want to say this about the building next door, to give you an idea. The building is 41,000 square feet. Whether it looks that big or not, but it's approximately 41,000 square feet of good, usable space for the future of Robins Air Force Base and the Houston County Board of Education. It's going to be an outstanding facility once the renovations are completed on the inside. Now, General Bunch has already mentioned some of this, but I want to just go back. I started when I was making my notes of looking of what all the communities, and I say communities, and what I'm fixing to say, has done as partnerships with Robins Air Force Base over the last 10 or 12 years. The first thing I want to mention is encroachment. Encroachment is solved, it's resolved at this base. I don't think there's many bases in this country that can say that, but the community, the state of Georgia, Representative Blackman, Governor Deal, Representative O'Neill, and you can go back with all the different people that was involved in this. Getting the encroachment and resolved was very important. That is a huge thing that happened. Clean air. We don't think about the clean air very often. Well, the Clean Air Coalition, who is a unit of local government officials and other partners, have worked so hard on the clean air that we are in attainment in this area and have been for quite some time, and it's through their efforts that we've been able to do this. Environmental Protection Agency and Environmental Division for EPD in the state agency has an awful lot of good things to say about the Clean Air Coalition. The Bowen facility, as General Bunch has already mentioned, was a huge thing. It too was an example of a community. Macon Bibb stepped up and did that. Partnerships already been mentioned about Middle Georgia State University. Partnership with Central Georgia Technical College, Dr. Ivan Allen. Dr. Allen has got more irons in what's going on in this county than you can imagine. He does a great job with it. Dr. Allen, you do a great job with the partnerships with the base and all. Mercer University has already been mentioned. I was so impressed with the facility that I saw up there a few weeks ago when they opened it up, and the collaboration and the partnerships they had bringing that together. Another project that's not talked about very often, but it's coming to fruition, is Project SOAP. Mayor Rickard and Neil Talton and I have sat in many meetings on that particular project to bring it to fruition. And I can tell you that is going to be a huge thing for Robins Air Force Base. That's the big solar array that's going on the north end of the base that will provide backup power for Robins in the future. And that's moving very rapidly. It's going to be under construction this year. Jim Levitt with Georgia Power is here. I want to thank Georgia Power for what they're doing on that as well. General Bunch, I wanted to mention all these again just to remind you that the partnerships in this community reach far beyond Houston County, reach far beyond Middle Georgia, but they reach over the whole state of Georgia as bringing this together. I want to thank Mayor Rickard. I mentioned him a minute ago, but Mayor Rickard and I have been in many meetings on many different subjects over the years. He is concluding his term of office at the end of the year. He has done a great job for Macon Bibb, but he's also been a great partner for Middle Georgia. Mayor, I want to thank you personally for that. I don't know if Robbie Fountain's here or not, but he's the chairman of the Development Authority in Macon Bibb. He and I have become friends, and he does a very good job at Macon Bibb, and I appreciate for what he does in his friendship and all. Dr. Mark Scott, he's a master. If you want something done, get Dr. Mark Scott engaged with you because he can help you get it done. He can bring partnerships together. He's got a great Board of Education. He's got a great staff that works with him. But I can say what's going to happen in this building is going to be a shining testimony for the Board of Education. It's going to be educating and training the workforce of tomorrow. That's what it's going to be. And Dr. Scott will make sure that that happens. Three of my best friends as far as local governments are the three cities in this county: Centerville, Perry, and Warner Robins. Those three mayors are here today: Mayor Walker, Mayor Toms, and Mayor Harley from Centerville. I appreciate your partnerships, and I say it over and over. The only reason this county as a whole has progressed the way it has is because of the partnerships that we have had over the years, and we must continue to have into the future, because otherwise we will not succeed. And I appreciate your partnerships, gentlemen. I know I've been long, and I've missed a lot of people, because just about everybody in this tent, if not everyone in this tent, could be acknowledged and recognized and thanked for what they do, because you're hand in hand making sure Robins Air Force Base is safe and viable into the future. Lastly, we would not be here today if it was not for this public-private partnership. I remember when I went and sat down with Mr. Lowe in his office and shut the door with him, and normally he shuts the door and you sit down with him. But I did go in there that day, and I was a little nervous, to be honest with you, because I didn't know how I was going to approach this with him. He has always been after me, and I think the three mayors as well, about we needed to do something for Robins. We need to do something for Robins. Y'all heard that before? We need to do something for Robins. So I turned it around on him. I said, Mr. Lowe, we need to do something for Robins. And he said, okay, what is it? And I said, that building that you have over there, we have an interest in it, and we need to come to terms. And he says, okay. And from that day, in about a 10-day period of time, that deal was done. And that's how fast it moved and all. So, Mr. Lowe, I can't say enough about you as far as what you've done for the community, what you've done for Robins Air Force Base, what you've done for individual people that don't even know that you have done it. You're a brilliant man. You've been very successful in business. You've got a wonderful family. And today, we want to honor you. We want to honor you for working with Houston County, working with the Houston County Development Authority, working with all the cities in this county, but most importantly, working for Robins Air Force Base. And in doing that, we want to name this park the R. Wayne Lowe Synergy Innovation Center into the future. Now, Mr. Lowe, I delivered that message on behalf of the Development Authority. And I'm going to ask you if you would walk right up front up here and face the crowd. I'm going to ask Angie GHEESLING and Ben HULBERT to come over and stand beside you. I'm going to ask General Bunch and General KUBINEC to go down and flank them, be on each side. And then I'm going to ask the remainder of the Development Authority to come up and be with this group. Chairman HULBERT, the floor is yours, sir. So if you will go ahead and introduce and present the sign or a model of the sign that's going to be put in front of this facility once we're finished. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm without a script, which is very scary and also very liberating, but we're super proud to present this. This is a model of what the sign will look like out front. I've known Mr. Lowe a long time since I was a little boy and watched all his commercials, and I appreciate him at the deepest level, and particularly for this. So with that, here.
Our economic development colleagues in the office and that we know around the state, and especially BERT, will understand that we do code names on projects. And we tried to come up with this. I was sitting with Chairman Stoniker and I started thinking about what does this project truly represent, and it's synergy. And then we decided, okay, we don't need to use the code name anymore, so what do we name this? What do we call this building? Well, of course, we call it the Synergy Innovation Center. And that's what this community means. That's what we experience on a daily basis. This is a big day. This is a really big day. And I thank you for being here and making it an even more special day. So this will conclude our ceremony. Thank you for coming.